Welcome to Southern Bells and Haunted Tales. I'm Jen,
I'm Melinda.
and we are here at the Bleeding Mausoleum in Cleveland, Tennessee for our inaugural episode. This is kind of a special place for both of us. It is where it all began, so to speak, for our interest in the paranormal. Well, not really our interest in the paranormal, because that's been a long time. But I guess where we joined forces.
Yeah.
This was our first place we really ever investigated in a very loose way of putting it. Yes, loosely. But we thought for our very first podcast episode and our very first official investigation, why not start at the very beginning? So we're going to record a little bit. It is the 154th anniversary of Nina's death today. And we've had some crazy experiences here. Really crazy experiences.
How many times have we been here?
At least 10.
Yeah. At least 10, 12 times, and
Yeah.
every time it's something different.
Yes. And it never ceases to shock us. So we've got some ghost apps up. We've got some equipment, and we're just going to see what happens. And hopefully they won't be shy tonight because we're making all this official. We hope you enjoy. Welcome to beautiful Cleveland, Tennessee. It's October 18th, 2025, and it's a peaceful night in downtown Cleveland. We've had the Apple Festival today. Lots of fall activities are going on at churches. But 154 years ago this night, the city of Cleveland was in mourning for a little girl named Nina Craigmiles. Nina is buried in this mausoleum along with the members of her family, her mother, father, a baby brother, and a stepfather she never knew. Her story has become part of Cleveland lore, a story we were taught in elementary school. And many of us have walked around this mausoleum 7 times, as the legend says, to try to get a glimpse of Nina's ghost. But that's not why we're here tonight. We want to tell the real story of Nina. We want to talk about her family and what happened on that fateful day in October. You probably can't see it much for here because of the dark and because of the trees. But just down the road, there's a beautiful house that was built by the Craigmile family. The father, John Craigmile, Adelia the mother, and little Nina, who in 1871 was 7 years old. Nina was a typical little girl of the time. She loved her dolls. But what she really loved was going for buggy rides with her grandfather, Dr. Thompson. He was the town doctor, and often he would take his granddaughter on a ride in his horse and buggy. Some say even to go on house calls, he would take her with him. But on October 18th, just behind the library and what now is Lee University, an unknown reason caused Dr. Thompson's horse to spook, caused him to veer his buggy onto the tracks with a train coming. When the train hit the buggy, he was thrown clear, but Nina was not so lucky. She was killed instantly, and the town became in a state of mourning for this little girl that everyone loved.
Thank you.
So we've been getting some fun words on our ghost app bracelet. Okay, that's interesting. So we were here one night. Pardon the equipment. We were here one night and we were standing right here, pretty much, the steps of the mausoleum. We had done some digging at the history branch of the library. We had expressed an interest outwardly that we wanted to know what happened, what caused the accident. Going down the rabbit hole on the internet, I've come across a couple of stories that made claims that Dr. Thompson had been drinking the day of the accident. And I believe we were talking about that, weren't we, Mel?
Yes.
When we were standing right here and talking, and all of a sudden we heard on the door like somebody had thrown a rock at this metal mausoleum door, except it came from the inside. And it's dark and I don't know if you can tell, but nope, you can't tell at all. Do we have a flashlight?
On my phone, hang on.
See if you can
grab
see it. I don't know if you can see it, but go ahead.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good. There's like this metal. Yes. So we've got this outer decorative door, and on the inside, it's metal. Iron, I guess. Would you say iron?
Probably.
Anyway, so the noise, it sounded like somebody threw a rock from inside. This is the only entrance. They only open it one time a year, and that is on Easter Day. So, that was our first real spooky, experience here. I'm gonna walk around, just show that there's no other entrances to the mausoleum. So you can see there's no other entrances. There's a vent up at the very tippy top for ventilation. But other than that, there's no way anybody could have been in there.
Not alive.
No, but we found it interesting that we'd been talking about all these theories. Was he under the influence? All these people come to this mausoleum all throughout the year, especially on Halloween night. And they're trying to wake up Nina's ghost. And there was a point where we had just asked, do you just get tired of people coming and people talking about all this that happened? And we were met, the bracelet, twice. Okay. In Union, we were just talking. Funny. So it's mentioned bracelet twice, so that's something we're going to have to look into. Maybe she had a bracelet that was special to her. But this was when we got that banging that sounded like somebody threw a rock at the door, basically like, just go on and get out of here.
And that's what we did.
And we did. We left. We don't overstay our welcome. We're Southern Belles after all.
That's
we know when
right.
it's time to take our leave. But as you just saw on the ghost app on Mel's phone, we're being too rowdy, I guess. I'm sorry. It said Union, and we had just talked about, when we were recording the intro, if we should talk about the family's and the city's history with the Civil War. and how we were actually a city divided during the Civil War, because part of the city were Confederates and part of us were Unionists. And there was a big awaiting truth. That's what we want. We want to know the truth. So there's a battle to control the railways here, because it was an integral part, even though Cleveland is just a little blip when you consider how big, even back during the Civil War, Atlanta was, Knoxville, even Chattanooga. We had an important railway station that both sides wanted. And so eventually the Union did take over and ran the city for several years. And Nina's dad had a connection to that. He was actually appointed by the Confederacy as a commissary. And because of his past in being a businessman, he was able to come out of the Civil War doing pretty well comparatively to most of the South. Whereas most of Southern cities were devastated by the loss of the Civil War and had to basically start over in poverty, John Craigmile had done very well for himself. He knew that paper money was going to be worthless by the end of the Civil War. So he did all of his trading and his purchasing with gold. And some have even claimed that his dealings during the Civil War kind of brought upon a curse to the family. Because if you don't know the history of the Craigmile family, it's pretty tragic. Nina was killed in 1871. Her father, John, died a few years later. I don't have the dates in front of me, but I think it was like 1877 or something like that. John and Adelia had an unnamed baby boy that passed away. I think the year after Nina passed. And they all had tragic fates. John slipped on some ice walking downtown, and he fell and got blood poisoning from an injury he received. And the matriarch of the Craigmile family, Adelia, she went on to remarry later in life. She had no more children. But as she was crossing one of the streets downtown, she was hit by a car and passed away. She did live to, I think, her 80s. Yes. But met a tragic end nonetheless. So the Craigmile line, as far as John Craigmile was concerned, ended with Nina and her baby brother that was, I believe, stillborn or died a few days after birth.
I think he lived a few days.
He lived a few days and then passed. So their family line ended there. And this beautiful mausoleum was built in honor of Nina by her father, as was this church, St. Luke's Church. It was built in her honor. Was it because she died on St. Luke's Day? Or she was born on St. Luke's Day? It's something to do with St. Luke's Day. I can't remember without my notes, so I apologize. It was named St. Luke's Episcopal Church after St. Luke's Day, which was significant in the Craigmiles' life for some reason or other. Now, the Craigmiles lived at the time in a house down the road. Can't see it because of the trees and because it's nighttime. But they had it built during the time when Nina had passed away. And they never actually lived in the house, as far as I've read, because her mother could not stand the fact that they could see her grave from their house. I'm going to see if I can get a tiny glimpse of it. their house. I'll zoom in right here. Right there, you can see the columns on the front porch. So that was their house, and it's a direct line. You could see the mausoleum from there. So her mother couldn't stand to live in the house because she couldn't look out her window without seeing her daughter's resting place. Well, St. Luke's is one of the biggest churches in Cleveland now. And they've got the beautiful church grounds, the mausoleum, and over here they have something called Nina's Garden. It's just a little memorial garden. In the springtime, there's flowers, and there's a little headstone. I don't know if you can pick it up tonight, but it says Nina's Garden or Nina's Little Garden or something like that. So this is where it started for us, our interest in the Craigmile family, and to kind of dig around and see if we could find out the truth of what happened. And particularly, we wanted to know what happened to Dr. Thompson after the accident, when he passed away, how he passed away. And the podcast is not going to be just about the Craigmile history.
No,
We want to go to lots of places.
and also share our own personal experiences.
Yes.
Because for me, paranormal experiences started long before I moved to Tennessee, and a lot of years ago.
Yeah. And I'm born and raised here, but mine started a long time before that as well. So we'll be talking about personal experiences. We'll talk about local history, local legends.
Other places that we'd like to visit, some of the other. There's a couple of places I really want to go.
Yes.
Within Tennessee to do investigating.
And North Georgia.
Yeah.
So I have family history in the Blue Ridge Mountains.
It's St. Luke's Day is today.
Oh, and thank you, Mel. Today is St. Luke's Day, so I guess it was the day that she died was on St. Luke's Day, which is why they named the church St. Luke's. So thank you for that. I knew I had that in my notes somewhere, but we're doing fly by the seat of our pants tonight. So that's a little backstory on why this place is special for us. Seems like no matter what we do or what we want to investigate, we always end up back here.
Every single time.
For some reason or another. So when we decided what our first episode would be, it was a no-brainer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because this is where, for us, not to say our friendship started here, because our friendship started
Way before.
many years ago in high school. I guess our common ground as where paranormal was here.
Yeah.
At the Craigmiles, our interests.
Yes. And there's the train again.
It's very creepy that the trains, because they never come through this often.
Yeah, this is the second time we've heard a train tonight, which is, it's eerie, and obviously it's a real train. We're not saying it's a phantom train.
Yeah, no, it's a real train.
It's just eerie that it's been twice since we've been here in like the last 45 minutes. And the one before this one, I wish we could have caught it, but it blew the horn like 10 times.
Yeah.
Which it never does. So
Especially not this late at night.
yeah, it's close to, what time is it?
It's almost
10:30?
11.
Almost 11 p.m. So
It's 10:59.
It's a little out of the ordinary, and I can't say I'm mad at the ambiance it gives,
No.
because it sets the mood kind
That's
of
right.
for the story and all that, but it's still interesting.
So you've walked around. You've talked about everything. I have not been with you while you've walked around, so I haven't heard everything that you talked about. Have you talked about the blood stains on it yet?
I have not. I was talking, basically I was just making sure everybody saw that there was no secret entrance
Yeah.
where people could hide and throw things at the door to scare people.
And you were asking about if it was iron.
Yes, the door iron.
I'm
Yes.
assuming they're iron. That's just usually what mausoleums are made out of, and that's
Yeah,
more
'cause it's-
because of superstitions.
Yeah.
And but like if you reach through here, this creeps me out. To reach through here. Can you tell? You can see those doors don't open,
Nope.
and yes, that's like wrought iron.
Yeah. The
This doesn't open.
Nope.
It's locked.
Yeah, there's only one way in for a human, living
Yes,
human.
That's right.
So anybody who's from the area probably has heard the legend of the bloodstains. Here's one, and ooh, gotta get that lighting. There's lighting coming from the yard. It doesn't pick up the red as well. It almost looks brown, but it's definitely pink.
There's some up here. I don't know if you'll be able to pick that up.
She might be able to shine her flashlight, maybe.
I'm not tall
Let me see if
at
I
all.
can zoom. So you can see the pink right there. There's some right there. And if Mel doesn't mind to shine her light as we walk around, because there's the other side of the mausoleum is not lit at all, which I don't know why they haven't done that, because that would be helpful.
This marble has been cleaned multiple times,
And even replaced at one point.
and these stains always seem to come back, no matter what. They seep through, which is
Now-
why I think there's the legend of
You know, people will say it's the iron deposits in the marble, and it just kind of rusts over time. But truthfully, it's not really a rusty color. It really is kind of a dark pink.
I may try to come back during the day and get some pictures of this so that you can see what color the mausoleum is in the daytime.
This does look just like aged marble. It's kind of that brownish tan, but there are spots that you really do see the red. Now, is it really bloodstains? No, I don't think that it really is.
Yeah, I don't think that the mausoleum is bleeding.
Does it look like that sometimes? Yes. Does it fit the legend? Yes.
Does it make for interesting lore and fun
Oh, yeah.
stories this time of year, especially during spooky season?
Yeah, in a couple of
Absolutely.
weeks on Halloween night, this place will be crawling with kids of all ages and adults who they're going to walk 7 times around this mausoleum, and they're going to say, "Nina, do you want to come and play?"
So, as someone that is not from here, I don't understand that particular thing. That's actually the first time I've ever heard that.
Really?
Yeah, I've never heard that.
It's something that now, if anybody is from, well, really any state, I think they all have their own 13 Tennessee Ghosts and Jeffrey.
Yes.
I don't know how many. Oh, that's a good one right here. Let's see if we can see that a little bit better. Now, it's really red in person. It looks more orange on camera.
Again, I'm gonna try to come back in, or you may too, but I will try to come back
Ooh,
in
right
here
there is good too.
during the day and get some pictures of the mausoleum, and I'll post them on the website
Yeah, and probably we could do it
and
on
on
the
Instagram.
social media. Yeah, on our
and
socials.
Facebook.
But yeah, so it was reading. Our teachers read us the story every Halloween growing up. I went to Mayfield. I'm sure all the other schools did the same thing. It was a local legend. We talked about it. We even walked down here
So
one
you're
year.
supposed to walk around it 7 times. Are you supposed to say the Nina, do you want to come out and play or whatever it is?
What we always heard and did was to say it at the end.
Okay.
So you walk 7 times around the mausoleum, and then when you reach your 7th time around, you ask Nina if she wants to come and play.
So is this the teacher's way of just making the kids get exercise? Burn off some
Probably.
energy.
And it's probably a cautionary tale that you don't want to
Yeah.
hang around mausoleums at night.
And so what are we doing?
We're walking around a mausoleum at night, of course, but we're not kids, so. Or at least not legally kids.
So is that what we're doing? We're going to walk around it 7 times?
I'm good if you want
That's
to.
cool. We going to count this as 1? I mean, because I'm pretty sure that we both walked around this at least 3 other times.
I think it has to be 7 consecutive times.
Okay.
So we'll count that as
That's
1
one.
just for technicality. It's
It's a beautiful night tonight.
it is really beautiful. It's not super cool, but there's a nice breeze.
I think my car said it was 67 when I got out.
Yeah, it's supposed to get a lot colder tomorrow.
It's also supposed to start raining tonight.
Yeah, which we need, but So this is 2. Now I gotta admit, I never did this when I was a kid. We're not shooting anybody.
Well, listen, though, check this out. While you talked, it said map, it said greatest, but you said 7. We've said 7 times, several times, and it says 8.
So were we wrong?
And
It's supposed to be 8
appearance.
times? Oh,
8 an appearance.
so maybe the legend is wrong. Maybe we need to go 8
This is
instead of
3.
7. I'm willing to try it. Now, I've always had a love of the paranormal. I've always had a love of ghost stories. But, y'all, when I was a kid, I was chicken little. I was scared to death. I watched Bram Stoker's Dracula with some friends at a sleepover when I was a kid. And my mom had a cross that she hung on the Christmas tree every year. And I slept with that thing for 2 weeks after I watched that movie.
I can't remember if mine was Dracula or if it was Frankenstein was the first scary movie
Frankenstein
I watched.
was scary too.
But I think for me, the one that just ruined me entirely was the movie with Stephen King's It. When I was about 9.
You know, I've never watched that.
It,
I have watched so many
I have
Stephen King
seen-
things, but I've never watched that.
I watched the first one. I mean, like the original one when I was a child.
Is that 5?
Yeah, that's 5.
Okay.
And then I watched the new one recently because, I don't know, because I'm a glutton for punishment, apparently. I don't know. But I will tell you, as an adult, as a 47-year-old adult, I am absolutely petrified of clowns to this day because of Stephen King.
You know what? A lot of people are scared of clowns.
But, well, I mean,
And I guess it's probably because of that.
well, that, and if you think about it, you don't know what they really look like. They're painted.
That's true.
So, you know.
Well, and then
anyway.
like the John Wayne Gacy
Yes.
thing, that's a reason to be scared of clowns.
Yeah. So it's not like.
Oh, my husband
It's a-
hates the movie It.
Yeah. But there was that. I mean, and then I went through a phase as a young teenager. Well, I love to read. Even still to this day, I love to read.
Oh, same.
But I went through a phase as a young teenager where my way of rebelling against my very, very strict, very Church of God parents was I read Stephen King. I read horror stories and Pet Cemetery. Never once have I seen the movie.
Oh my gosh. You've got to watch it.
However, I've read the book. The book scared me so bad that I could not sleep for days.
See, I'm the opposite. I've never read the book of that one, but I've watched the movie, and that was enough.
Yeah, I learned very quickly that Stephen King books are not for me.
My favorite, of course, is The Shining.
I've seen it. I've never read it.
Now, true Stephen King
this is
fans,
7.
this is 7. Should we stop or should we go for 8? It said 8. Let's go 8.
Let's do it.
True Stephen King fans will tell you that The Shining with Jack Nicholson is an amazing movie, but it veered quite a bit from the book.
Yeah.
Oh, it stopped. Right before that car drove by, those leaves over there just started swirling. Stephen King, The Shining, the book, the movie with Jack Nicholson, he made an amazing bad guy, and he was really psycho. So are we going around one more time for 8, or was that 8?
Let's go one more.
Okay.
Then let's see what happens.
But if you read the book, you will see why he became a psycho madman.
Yeah.
And so that makes it not as scary to me when you know the reasons behind things. All right, guys. This is, I think...
Well, and I think that's one of the reasons, it's totally off subject of Stephen King. But one of the reasons that this has never been something that has felt scary to me here. Paranormal, yes. Supernatural to an extent, sure. But I've never felt like this was something that was scary. But it's always been something that I would like to know more of the story, because there's got to be more to the story than just a 7-year-old was operating a horse-drawn buggy and ended
that's
up in front
another
of...
theory. Was she driving the buggy? Did he let her take the reins, and that's why they wrecked?
I know there's also the theory of he may not have been completely sober, and she was the one operating because of that.
Yes. So 8 rounds. I guess we say the magic word, right?
Yep.
So Nina, do you want to come play?
Do you want to come play? Listen, it's been eerily quiet on here.
No attic.
Yeah, I don't know. After the appearance in Somebody, it's just been, I don't know.
Now the wind has picked up.
Yes.
No weird leaves swirling over there though. I will say the last time we were here, I don't think there was any wind at all. And one of those swings, just one.
Premium.
One of those swings over there was moving.
Yep. So, personal experience story time.
Ooh, fun.
I'll get into this one on another podcast, but short version. I was in South Georgia because I'm originally from Atlanta. My dad's family and my sisters, my siblings, my nieces, they live in Jackson, Georgia. I was down there, it's been 2009, January of 2009. I was down there because my grandfather was sick and was dying, and I was down there to be with him and with my family as my grandfather passed. My sister and I, my youngest sister and I, are very much into the paranormal stuff. We love to go ghost hunting when I'm down or when she's up here. And we decided to go to the house that they lived in when they grew up in a little bitty tiny city called Jenkinsburg. And there's a cemetery there. Now, I put a whole lot of miles on a bicycle growing up in Jenkinsburg. It is literally, once upon a time, nobody had ever heard of it because one city limit sign to another is about 1.5 miles.
Oh, wow.
It's very, very tiny. There's actually not even an actual school in the city of Jenkinsburg. There's Butts County Elementary and middle and high schools.
Oh, wow.
But like I said, I put a lot of miles on a bicycle. I got into a whole lot of trouble for going places that I wasn't supposed to go on the bicycle. Like there's used to be a nursing home and that we weren't supposed to go to, and we went there a whole lot.
Ooh.
Again, I'll get into more of that on another podcast, but at the cemetery that night, this is more related to the wind. At the cemetery that particular night, Lucy and I got there. It was cold, it was spitting snow, and we got out and we started walking around, and my sister Lucy said, my dad's family calls me Minda. My sister Lucy said, Minda, something doesn't feel right. And I said, yeah, I feel that too. And as we started walking around, taking pictures inside the cemetery, the wind started picking up. And Lucy said, I feel like we're not wanted. I said, it's kind of what I feel like. I feel like something's telling us we need to leave. And so we walk back to the Jeep. We get in, and as soon as we closed the door, the wind, both of us got in and closed the doors, the wind completely stopped. We both kind of looked at each other like, what the crap? And so we were like, all right, well, it's settled down. Let's get out. We get out, and we get about 10 steps away from the Jeep, and the wind picked up. And at first it was just a little bit. And the more into the cemetery that we got, the harder the wind picked up.
Wow.
And sounds that were not normal inside the cemetery that is in a very small town where there is absolutely nothing. We were hearing sounds that we shouldn't have been hearing, and we decided it's time to go. And once again,
Did you hear that too?
I did.
Mm-hmm. And over there too.
Yeah. But again, we got inside the Jeep, got the doors shut, Jeep turned on, and the wind completely stopped. So
wow.
I
don't think I've heard that story, so I'm interested to hear the rest of it now.
So, like, as we've been walking around out here tonight, there's been a nice, comfortable breeze.
Yeah.
But now the wind has actually picked up enough that it's moving the leaves on the ground. It's moving the leaves on the trees more prominently.
Yeah.
I keep hearing things over there. It's really weird.
Yeah.
So
and we have another interesting cemetery story too that we'll have to share one time.
But it's just interesting to me that we do this and the wind picks up, and it just reminded me of the time in South Georgia.
Yeah.
When, we were in a cemetery at night that we probably shouldn't have been in. And I really, truly believe that the spirits were telling us to get the crap out of there. Go home and go to bed. So
yeah, whether somebody was there that you didn't need to meet, or something was going to happen that you didn't need to be there for.
But it's very interesting.
Yes.
And there will be more to this.
Yes,
and I will share off of here. But I have pictures that I will show you from that night.
Little teasers.
Where there is, in one of the pictures, there is actually what appears to be an elderly woman sitting on one of the tombstones.
Oh my gosh, I've got chills everywhere. Okay, so there's a teaser for you. Not the last time we were here, which interestingly enough, gosh, I can't talk tonight. We were here exactly a month ago on September 18th. And not that time, but the time before that, we came earlier than this. Now, there's been cars going by. Probably a little bit more than usual for this time of night. We were here earlier, like maybe 8 o'clock, 8:30.
Yeah, it wasn't even 9 o'clock. There's still daylight out.
And there's usually a lot more traffic that time of night, especially with the university right here. And we got the ick so bad that we just left because there was like nobody around, no cars, very little noise. And I don't know, I'm going to try to pick that up right there. That light drives it bonkers all the time. Yes. We were going to walk down that side of the road just to kind of pull up the ghost app and see. Beast and foul. Okay. Yeah. That's interesting. Anyway, we were going to walk down there. We came out the back. Do you want to head to the car? Hollow within.
Again, that's the second time that has hollowed within.
Yeah.
But if I go down here, way down here.
Awaiting truth. That was an interesting one too. Understanding. Right. Yep,
yeah, right there.
Very weird.
And that you can see the date and the time.
Mhm.
It's tonight.
Yep. Do you want to walk towards the car?
Yeah.
And, well, I guess we need it. Do you want to get our stuff now, or?
This says be wary.
Again. Okay.
Wary.
All right. Be wary and story. So maybe we won't. Right through there, there's a pathway that leads to the very front of the church, and we had decided, because that light had bothered us for so long. Okay, well, we've been waiting. We gotta go in a minute.
Yeah.
We decided we were gonna walk down there, pull up the ghost app, and just see if anything popped up at that weird flashy light that's there all the time. So we headed down this pathway, and we got almost to the gate that led out to the sidewalk. And we both looked at each other along. Yep. Be wary. And what was the red one? I put my glasses on so I can see it. Up here. Yeah. Okay. We hear you. Anyway, we both kind of looked at each other and was like, I don't feel like we should go down there. It doesn't feel safe. So, and there was like nobody. There's no people. Did you hear that?
Maybe it came from the car that just went by. Maybe the music from the car.
I hope.
I don't know.
We just didn't feel safe to go down that way. There was no people, no movement, no sound, to the point where it was eerie. And speaking of eerie,
It says accident. Oh, hang on a minute. I got too much stuff in my hand right now.
oh yeah, accident. Yeah. So, long story short, we'll get into some more details about the mausoleum, and we're going to try to do some more digging about the family and try to find newspaper articles about the accident, because the last time we looked, they were mysteriously missing a whole chunk from that time period. My child.
Nina was someone's child.
Yes. And we mean no disrespect. And that's something we have tried. And we visited Dr. Thompson's grave too, to let him know we're not thrill seekers. We're not here to play a game. We just want to learn more about what happened. And yes, we know Nina was a beloved child to the family and to the whole town.
Yes, her death was like the town was just devastated.
Yeah, it was a big deal. They just recovered from the Civil War and were starting to get back on their feet and grow as a city. And then that rocked the whole town. But y'all, Cleveland is insanely haunted. And we've got some stories. That church over there, we get all kinds of interesting readings from that church. That's a Civil War church that was actually used as a hospital.
There's bullet holes in that church.
Yes, so you can still see the bullet holes on the inside of the church. If we can ever get a tour, we'll take some pictures and show you, as long as we can do it respectfully. That church has had some very interesting activity. You want me to carry anything? Or are you good?
No, I'm good.
This church, of course, and this is all part of the same church. There's an office building, right? Is it right there or right there? The Million building, right here on the other side of the parish hall. That is supposed to be very haunted. The history branch of the library.
Yes.
We get the heebie-jeebies every time we go over there. And it's also connected to the Craig Mile family, interestingly enough. Not the same branch, but same family. And here you can see that path I was talking about. We stepped right up to the gate and we were like, nope, not today. But, yeah. The library's probably got some stories over there.
Especially the old part of the library.
Yes, the main part of the library that used to be a home, for sure. A lot of these houses. Our hospital. Lots of interesting experiences from both of us that have happened at the hospital.
Absolutely.
And
the old hospital, the Cleveland Community, what's now Bradley Behavioral, it's I don't want to say a mental hospital, but that's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
But Cleveland Community,
yeah.
some stories from Cleveland Community.
Whew. Yeah. So I think.
Interrupt.
Yeah. Interrupt. Okay. Mel's got stories from her house, both houses. I've got stories from my house, including a picture that was questionable. Some experiences that I've had, my kids have had at our house. But this is just the beginning. And I'm excited to see where we go.
Episode 1.
Episode 1 in the books.
Yep.
Definitely, I know we want to venture out to Polk County.
Yep. I definitely want to go to Nancy Ward.
Yes.
But other places, I really want to go up to Brushy Mountain.
Yes.
To the penitentiary, the old penitentiary.
Belle's had some crazy stories there too. I've never been. She's been, twice?
No, I've only been once.
Oh, just the once?
Twice.
Yeah?
You're right, I have been twice.
Crazy experiences there. We snuck into I don't want it to say, I mean, we didn't sneak into it. No, it was daytime, and it was abandoned at the time. The Clegg House in Athens.
Oh, yes.
And it's now it's now a haunted attraction, and people pay money to go there and get scared. And I don't know how many people realize that it's really haunted.
Listen, the workers there, I have talked to people that having the short time that I've worked in McMinn County now, I've heard stories from people that I work with that have been in there, and that, over the years that they've ran calls out there. The police have ran calls out there that people call, that they hear something, that there's somebody screaming, or they hear things, and they get out there and there's absolutely no one there. I mean, even since it's been turned into a haunted attraction, they still get calls out there every now and then, and they'll go and investigate, and there's nothing there. There's no workers, there's nobody there, there's no reason. And there's at least one person that I work with, one EMT that I work with, that went there went on a call because they said there's a female screaming for help, so have EMS come with us. And they get there and they could hear it, and they never found anybody. It stopped just as quickly as it started, and they never found anyone out there. So that is a place that they say creepy. That house in and of itself, even before it was turned into the haunted attraction that it is now, that place has horror stories.
Oh yeah, and there really is crazy history behind that house too.
Yes.
And we went. I don't think
There's a heaviness.
Mm-hmm. I don't think we experienced anything paranormal while we were there, other than the fact that it just felt very dark.
Yeah, it almost felt like you weren't really welcome.
Yeah, and like something bad had happened there, and it's somewhere you didn't want to be.
Yeah.
And that's also my experience with the Higdon Hotel.
That's what I was going to say. The Higdon Hotel is another place.
I've taken pictures, and I felt like somebody might be watching me from the window. I've never experienced anything there. It just felt off.
Yeah, I've been up there because, that's my neck of the woods. That's right, not far from it's about 10 minutes from my house, depending on how fast you drive Highway 30. Well, because I'm familiar with it, I probably drive it faster than I should. But the Higdon Hotel, I've been there several times. I've been there by myself a couple of times, which is really stupid. And I've been there with my sister when she was in town.
Yeah.
And I've even been there with my husband, who just rolls his eyes at me and just goes with it, because he's
mine
learned
too.
26 years in, and he's learned just let me do what I want.
Just go with the flow.
Yeah. But even he has said, I mean, I don't think there's anything. It's not like there's ghosts in there. There might be, but it just feels like you shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
It feels like somebody's watching you, and it's probably because they got cameras. I've never seen cameras. I don't doubt that they probably
they
do.
might. It seems like.
But I know that when we went in, like my sister and I went in there and crawled around in there and did. It's very unsafe.
Yeah. Don't do this at home.
Yeah.
Don't
There's
go over
a
there.
basement that we were going to attempt to get into.
You're braver than I am. That place scares me.
It just felt wrong. It felt like there was some kind of force that was there saying, no. So we just said, okay, we'll just go look at the pretty leaves. We'll just go look at we'll go to the river.
Yep.
We'll go places we're supposed to be.
And my connection is actually my grandfather worked for the lumber company up there. So he was one of them that worked up there, and they would cut the trees down and get the logs and float them down the river to the mill.
Oh.
But he worked up there, and so I've grown up going there, picnics and drives on Sunday afternoon. But that place is another one that always kind of, it's like, it gives you a weird feeling, but you still want to go.
Yep.
And that's the same feeling as we get at the history branch of the library. It's just we've never experienced anything, overtly paranormal. It's just a feeling you get when you're there. But lots of stories.
These are places that, we'll do some history digging, we'll do some homework and information on the places, and then go up there and kind of like tonight, just kind of do an investigation. Not really, it's not really an over-the-top investigation.
No.
But just kind of walk around the place,
Amateurs.
Look around it. Yeah.
But
and
definitely
tell
curious.
the history and our own experiences, which is really what I want. For me personally, it's what I feel like the podcast, what I want the podcast to be, is more of two people sharing experiences and then getting other people's stories. And because I know there's other people out here that have stories to share.
Definitely.
And share the stories, share the love,
and to try to bust some myths, maybe, because I know there's one story that I've heard going around about the Craig Miles, saying that there was a statue of Nina on the Titanic when it sank.
What?
Yes. Have you not heard that one yet? Oh my gosh, it's crazy. There was a statue of Nina that her parents had fashioned in Italy out of marble, and it was being sent over on the Titanic, and it was on the Titanic when it sank. Well, first of all, John was already dead.
The only one that was alive at that point
was the mother.
Yeah.
There's no evidence that happened.
She didn't die until 1928. She was hit by a car.
Right.
And died in 28.
Now, there is, it's common knowledge that the marble from the mausoleum was Italian marble. But there's no evidence, and the dates don't line up. Not only did the dates not line up, there was no mysterious little girl statue found at the bottom of the ocean. So things like that, I think, personally, if I know of something that we know is not true, I'd like to bust that and say, no, that's not what we need to focus on. What we would like to find out is how Dr. Thompson died, and any articles about the accident, and whether the town blamed him, basically. Was he blamed for the accident? Was there articles about him being intoxicated? Or, what was the news at the time? Because I think that would help clear up a lot of stuff too. So
Side note, totally not really completely related to this, but I'm sure when we go back and we listen to this, we watch this right here, you'll be able to hear that the wind picked up just now.
It's moving again.
Like, the wind picked up pretty heavy just a second ago, heavy enough that it's moving all these leaves. And those swings over there were just barely moving.
Mm-hmm.
Even with that heavy wind, but the night that we were talking about earlier, when there was no wind,
yeah, you can see
those swings were moving.
Yeah, and they're on chains, so, you know, fairly heavy chains.
I mean, they're moving a little bit now, but that's because the wind is blowing.
And there was just one moving that night.
Yes,
too. The other one wasn't.
The one. This one is right now. I can tell that the little baby swing on the far end, and the one in the middle is moving.
Yeah.
I can't really tell the one on the far left.
It was earlier, but it's not now. But there was that one. That one was moving. That was the only one that was moving that night. And there was no wind. No wind.
Whereas right now, there's a pretty, I mean, if you look at the tree up here, the
zoom
wind
out.
is blowing pretty good up there. And those swings are not moving.
Yeah, there's a definite wind. You can see the trees moving. So it's not preposterous that would be moving the swing, because it's fairly breezy. But yeah, that one was moving that night, and there was no wind, and it was just the one that was moving. So it was, you know, it was an interesting night for sure.
Sorry, I was getting stuck.
So I think we're gonna sign off here.
Hear them call figure glance relative. Okay.
We've
I'm
got
gonna
some.
walk back over here and say goodbye.
Yes.
Good
You want to
night.
do that off camera?
Yes, because I don't believe in leaving anything to chance.
we
or
don't,
leaving anything open. I mean,
well, like we said, we're Southern Belles. We've got to say goodbye, be polite, and you know, we're saying bye to the first episode of the podcast. And just like any Southern woman, we take 20 minutes to say goodbye.
Correct.
So
True story.
we're gonna sign off from here, and we will see you. Maybe see you. Neither of us were camera ready tonight, but we might actually see you on the next episode.
I'm not sure how often we're going to be able. I mean, I would like to say that we will do this, you know, once a week. But my work schedule is real crazy. Your work schedule is crazy.
Yeah. So maybe once a month.
A little more information. And maybe the next episode we can do just something simple to give a little more information about ourselves.
A month to 6 weeks.
Yeah, I just as an idea, my work schedule, I work in EMS and I work in an ER, and I work a 24
all the time.
I work a 24-hour shift, and then I go home, I sleep for a few hours, and then I go work a 12-hour shift in the ER, and then I take 2 days off and then rinse and repeat.
Yep.
So my schedule is kind of crazy right now. You work in a school, so you know.
So my schedule's set, but you know.
But you also have 2 kids. You have 2 teenagers.
I have 2 kids at home and a husband, and they're full-time jobs in themselves, so you know how that is.
So we will get back. We will be back.
Yes. We're hoping to get a regular schedule when we can kind of, when your schedule gets kind of normalized, maybe.
Yeah, because I think I'm going to give up the ER. It's just too much.
Oh. But we're going to say goodnight. Happy St. Luke's Day for a few more minutes.
That's right.
And
Happy St. Luke's Day.
Rest in peace to Nina and her family. And I'm still bleeding. Well, it didn't go in that order, but that's still...
Yeah.
We were talking about the Bleeding Mausoleum. So, yeah, see, we always get crazy stuff here. So we're going to say goodnight for now, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.